4K Rockstar.
What's going on, people? It's your boy, the 4K Rockstar himself, Brass Tacks in this. You already know. You already know. Listen, Baywatch. I used to love Baywatch back in the day. Pamela Anderson back in the day. Used to fall in love every Saturdays. And you know, David Hasselhoff was cool. He's cool. There's something cool about David Hasselhoff. No homo. It is what it is. I had very, very low expectations of this movie because everyone has panned it. Everyone has said this is horrible. Some people have even gone so far as to say it's so bad, it's good. Guess what? I loved it. I found it enjoyable. I found it funny. There's something happens at the beginning of the movie where a guy gets his schlong trapped in a table, so to speak. Very amusing. I know we've all been there. I felt for him. This movie makes you realize how ridiculous Baywatch was. These people are lifeguards and they're saving the world. We didn't care though. We didn't care. You know why? Because there was some hot fine honeys in some red bathing suits, baby. It was a win-win. They could have had spaceships on that show. It would have made sense somehow. I'll give it real with you. Shot in 2.8K. Visual effects, 2K. Digital intermediate, 2K. Dolby Atmos sound.
Brass Tacks. Seal of approval.
Let's just get started. There is a noticeable increase in detail. Now, when I mean noticeable, The Rock is bald, right? You can see little stubble on his hair, little hair follicles, no homo. They're just close-ups of his head. It was just there in front of me. I don't know what to say to you. Even the sand, you can make out individual grains in the sand. It looks that sharp. You notice every crease and bumps in the swimsuits, the red swimsuits, you know. Just saying, you noticed that. Priyanka Chopra, girl, you were in my top 10. I think you were number 3. After this movie, may need to bump you up to number 2. Amazing. Now, when I mean amazing, I mean A1. Round of applause for you. There's this other girl there. I saw her in Billions, in this little dress, this little outfit, and I stopped everything I was doing. I stopped everything. I paused the video, just sat there and just watched. Ilfanesh, Hadera, God bless you, girl. You in my top 10 now. I didn't even know you existed till Billions. Now I've seen you in Baywatch, seen a little more of you, if you know what I'm saying, with the extra detail, A1. It can be a little soft in parts too, but for the most part, the detail really stands out in this movie. Just the scenery throughout. This is a very aesthetic movie. Details A1. This movie like a 3D postcard. The depth in this movie is fantastic, phenomenal. There is a boat rescue scene, okay? The Rock is rescuing the boat, okay? He dives into the water. That looks 3D as hell. The Rock is swimming into your living room, if you get what I'm saying. That's not gonna appease you guys, but it may appease your girlfriends. Do you know what I'm saying? A lot of conversation takes place on the beach, right? So they're talking, you see the beach in the background. There is great foreground, background, space between characters. Lots of 3-dimensionality here. You wanna know what the HDR's like? Picture the most beautiful woman in the world that you would love to be with. If your wife gave you a pass, she said, you know what? Whoever you can be with, you can be with. Now imagine that pretty woman, and imagine you married to her. That's how good the HDR is. Priyanka Chopra's wearing this like green tight dress. That's a reference quality dress right there. That's a reference quality chair right there. That's all reference quality. That's what I'm saying. This movie has a different color palette to the 1080p. It's like they've taken the best Instagram filter and made it even better and applied it to this movie. It's like Dusky, but with tremendous pop. Everything has great pop, super colorful. Everyone's looking extra oiled up. You see the sun shining off the oiled up bodies in their red, bright red, popping bathing suits. Now I forgot to mention reds are very pronounced. Did I mention that? Well, guess what? They are. Sunsets everything. Look, A1. Everything has tremendous pop. The brights are very bright, the darks are very dark. There's a scene where the sun's reflecting off the ocean. Absolutely stunning. Seriously, it's got some beautiful moments in this. There are going to be times in this movie where you're just going to pause it and just admire the HDR. Colors are so much more wider on this than they are on the 1080p. It's astounding. One of the guys is wearing what I thought was a perhaps light blue shirt in the 1080p. It's more turquoisey now with the HDR, with some sheen off it from the sun. That's what we're talking about here. I didn't have a problem with the black levels whatsoever. The black levels look A1. Dark, inky, great shadow detail. You can make out so much detail on this. especially on indoor scenes. There are some scenes that are shot at night, but you can make out a lot more detail with this than you could in the 1080p. Some people have said the black levels aren't consistent at times, but I didn't feel that way at all. I thought the black levels were fantastic. Dark and inky where they needed to be, and the shadow details, everything just showed off just the right amount of detail, more so than the 1080p. It's a win. You see The Rock come out in the opening scene, and you see the big Baywatch opening credit. And as soon as I saw that, I thought, we in trouble here, because that looks CGI as hell. There are certain scenes like where the boat's on fire, which I spoke to about earlier on. It looks a little bit fakeish, I don't know what to say, but there's nothing too offensive, but because we're watching 4K, it may be a little bit more obvious than the 1080p. You tell your girl to go sit on the woofer and dance, cause some of the music in this is gonna get her moving, I ain't gonna lie to you. A lot of this kind of plays like a concert. When the music kicks in, the bass is thumping. You're hearing music all around you. There is a segment where you get the old Baywatch theme song. That's gonna bring nostalgia back like crazy. You're gonna be loving it. The mix of this is very, very aggressive. Explosions are loud and deep and shake the room to subtleties. The vocals are very, very clear. You got two of these guys riding a pink cycle, and you can hear the pedals going from left to right. It's crazy. Great height as well on this. The Baywatch credit jumps out of the water and goes up. You hear the splash down below, and as soon as it goes up, you hear splashes up there. I think it's more front heavy than back heavy. I think the overall surround sound is lacking a touch, especially from the rear speakers. You do hear stuff, but it's just not as pronounced as I feel it could have been. But sound is pretty good. I don't think you're gonna be that disappointed. I think there's gonna be some real good standout moments. And there you have it, guys. There's my thoughts on Baywatch. I really enjoyed it. I've actually watched it twice now. Shame it wasn't a 3D version, because I think they would have really taken advantage of that. But what can you do? The good news is that the 4K Blu-ray does have the extended version. A bit more gags, a bit more laughs, a prolonged dialogue, what have you. Nothing major, but it's a nice touch. It's got both versions you can choose from. Picture quality is really, really good. It's not referenced, but it's really, really, really good. If you're on the fence based on the picture quality, then just pick it up. Alright guys, you take care. Subscribe as the 4K Rockstar. I'm gonna catch you guys soon.